From Gloucester County College, Comcast Sports presents the District 29 Finals. Good evening, everyone. With Nick Berchichelli, I'm John Mondelli. And Nick, we have a lot of great wrestling to look forward to. 9 repeat champions in the finals tonight.
John, that's astounding. I mean, when you look at the history of Gloucester County wrestling and repeat wrestling, it's just a tribute to the athletes and their programs. It's very difficult to repeat as it is. When you come in, you win one time, you're always, kind of being shot at, and it's very difficult to repeat. And when you come 9 times to come back and try it again, it's very impressive.
Yeah, and we talk about the 9 guys repeating. 2 guys tonight will be going for their 4th title, and that's Mike Mendenhall and Tom Curl.
That's just huge. I mean, when you talk to midget wrestlers, you talk to high school wrestlers, just getting to the finals one time. The second time's difficult. 3rd and 4th time, I've never been there, and it's just very impressive for the young men.
Right, let's talk about some premier matchups. And there are a lot, actually. There's 14 premier matchups, but the ones that people are talking about, 130, Mercado and Mancuso. Mancuso's a 2-time district champ. Mercado was 6th in the state last year. That'll be a war.
Well, that'll be a good, exciting match. Mercado, though, is on fire, John. I watched him throughout this tournament, and he is on a pace. I mean, he's on a mission. It's going to be a great matchup.
Right. 171, we have Alexis Aquino. Last year was a 189-pounder. Goes down to 171. He goes up against Zach Guerin, who was a district champ last year.
Another good matchup. I mean, Aquino looks good at this weight class. He looks like he should be at this weight class. Very strong in the semifinals with the pin. He's a good leg rider. Zach Guerin, he's on fire also. So, if you're going to have a great district final, tonight's the night.
Now we have a couple big rematches. And at 189, it'll be Hatchell and Funk. This one went into overtime in a dual meet. Funk got the better of Hatchell that time. We'll see what happens this time.
Well, the first time they met, I thought both wrestlers are a little bit out of shape. They're peaking right now, both at the same time, and it should be a dynamite matchup.
And of course, at heavyweight, to say a great matchup, this is the only weight class where there's 2 undefeated wrestlers, Tom Curl and John Hatchell, both undefeated. Originally both growing up in that Clearview area, and if Curl wins and pins, which is going to be tough, he'll be the old-time pinningest, I guess, the most pins in the history of New Jersey wrestling, beating Damian Hahn.
That's amazing. I guess he's coming in with 89 pins, and I guess tonight's it could be 90. I may be off a couple pins, but he's a pinner. We didn't get to see these 2 wrestlers during the regular season because Hatchell was out on the way for a recruiting trip for football. So this is going to be our first time watching him. He's impressive in the semifinals. When you see a heavyweight go in on a double leg takedown, pick another heavyweight up and drop you down, you got to wonder that these guys are tough.
Well, Paulsboro brings 9 to the finals. West Deptford, a big surprise, with 6 in the finals. They have a great freshman to start things off at 103. We'll have the introductions and all the action coming up next after this timeout. Welcome back to Gloucester County College. John Mondelli with Nick Berchichelli, and we're going to have some announcements before the start of the match, some introductions, some presentations, and Nick, it's a big night of wrestling here at Gloucester County College.
I'm looking forward to it, John. I mean, going from the quarterfinals on, I don't think this is a strong district this year. I mean, it's just my opinion.
Right.
But you know what? The tournament really cleaned up well as we went from round to round. I think we have a dynamite final.
Okay, it looks like we're going to have the Coach of the Year announcement first. I thought John Bojaning was going to announce it, so we had him mic'd, and Steve Anashevsky took the other mic.
Well, Steve's good for that.
Championship finals.
At this time, I'd like to call 2 people up to help me present the Coach of the Year award. First of all, a member of the Gloucester County Board of Chosen Freeholders, Mr. Bill Krebs. And the athletic director at Gloucester County College, Mr. Ron Case.
Ron Case will be introducing the Coach of the Year, or I guess presenting the Coach of the Year with his plaque.
Gentlemen, on behalf of the teams participating in District 29, host Paulsboro High School and the NJSIA, we thank you for 30 years of great tournaments here at Gloucester County.
John, that's well deserved.
Now,
Great facility to have a tournament.
This year his team was 14-6. They won 14 straight matches. They were a Group 1 semifinalists.
I'm going to guess it's
They
Clayton.
had 5 straight winning seasons and 4 playoff appearances. He's a graduate of Gloucester High School and the University of Delaware. He's won this award 3 times in his 8 years at Clayton High School. The
there's a guy that did a great job, Nick. I mean, obviously coming from that Steve Isles program at Delsey and put Clayton on the map the last 3 years in wrestling. There's a team that didn't have wrestling about 5 years ago.
You know, and it is a good tribute too, because you know your peers vote for you, and that means a lot. When you have the Paul Marinas, the Wayne Rochelle's, that when they vote for you, your peers mean a lot.
Of course, that's just one of a couple presentations we're going to have. A little bit later, we're going to see the head coach of Gloucester County College come out and receive some recognition with his All-Americans, and that just goes to show you how great wrestling is here in Gloucester County. Because 3 of those 4 All-Americans from Gloucester County College wrestled in this county. One at West Deptford, one at Washington Township, one at Delsey. And we'll be seeing them in just a few minutes, I think, after this last picture. Now we're going to turn it over to John Vogeting for the next presentation.
Coach Michael Lamb and his Roadrunners, please report to the middle of the mat. Ladies and gentlemen, this last weekend, out in Minnesota, the Gloucester County College wrestling team won the Division III National Championship for the 4th time in 5 years, getting a Division III record, 101.5 points in that tournament. Several people associated with the team should be recognized this evening. The founder of the program, who has been associated with the program for the last 34 years, during which time the team won 13 Mid-Atlantic District titles and 5 national titles, and who is retiring this year, Chuck Williamson. A former Highland High School wrestler who excelled in the college level for Gloucester County College and the University of North Carolina, head coach Michael Lamb. A sophomore who wrestled for Delsey High School, compiled a 19-3 record this year on his way to a 4th place All-American finish in Minnesota, and a 45-10 career record at Gloucester County College, Manny Aguilera. A sophomore 197-pounder who finished 32-2 this year, winning a national title and finishing 60-10 in his career at Gloucester County College, at Jackson High School tonight for his team's district championship. To pass out the medals there, but we recognize Nick Vinciguerra, national champion. A sophomore out of Washington Township High School who was 4th in the country last year, 31-4 and 1st in the country at 174 pounds this year, a 2-time All-American with a 67-7 career record from Washington Township, Brian Brittingham. And a freshman who was a 2-time District 29 champion in this gymnasium, who was 3rd in the state last year for West Deptford High School. He compiled the first perfect record in Gloucester County College history this season by going 32-0 and winning the national title at 125 pounds, Jimmy Rollins. Gloucester County, please turn around and face the other side and be acknowledged by the crowd.
That's Vogue letting me know we're ready to go, Nick. So what I'm going to do is throw it right back to Vogue so he can introduce tonight's wrestlers.
Manny Aguilera at Delsey, Brian Brittingham at Washington Township, and Jimmy Rollins at West Deptford. All-Americans. At this time, I would like to introduce in the spotlight the wrestlers in the championship finals this evening. At 103 pounds, the number 2 seeded wrestler, a freshman from West Deptford High School with a record of 18-3 this year, Alex Rutkowski. His opponent, the number 1 seeded wrestler, a sophomore from Paulsboro, second at 103 pounds last year in District 29, a record of 27-2 this year, 41-18 in his career, David Smith. At 112 pounds, the number 2 seeded wrestler, a senior from West Deptford, a record of 17-5 this year, 39-22 in his career, Pat Adair. His opponent, the number 1 seed, a junior from Deptford, champion at 103 pounds last year, 4th in his district as a freshman, 20 wins and 4 losses this year, 63-17 in his career, Vince Lipsy. At 119 pounds, the number 2 seed, a senior from Gloucester Catholic High School, a record of 21-5 this year, 58-24 in his career, 4th in this district at 119 pounds last year, Matt Coloretti. His opponent, the number 1 seed, a senior from Paulsboro High School, 25 wins and 3 losses this year, 102 wins, 22 losses in his career, a district champion at 119 last year, 2nd in the region, a district champion and 4th in the region as a sophomore, 2nd in the district and 4th in the region as a freshman, Ryan O'Hara. At 125 pounds, the number 2 seed is a junior from West Deptford, a record of 18-4 this year, 36-7 in his career, David Schilling. His opponent, the number 1 seed, is a junior from Pittman, a record of 23-4 this year, 64-17 in his career, 2nd in District 29 at 119 pounds last year, 3rd in District 29 as a freshman, Chris Thomas. At 130 pounds, the number 2 seed is a junior from West Deptford. He has a record of 21 wins and 1 loss this year, 70 wins and 8 losses in his career. 1st at District 29 at 130 pounds and 4th in Region 8 last year. 1st in District 29 and 3rd in Region 8 as a freshman, Kyle Mancuso. His opponent, the number 1 seed, a junior from Pittman, a record of 26-1 this year, 67-15 in his career, 2nd in District 29, 2nd in Region 8, and 6th in the state at 125 pounds last year, Jared Mercado. At 135 pounds, the number 2 seed is a senior from Paulsboro. He has a record of 18-12 this year, 27-28 in his career, Dominic Magazoo. His opponent is the number 4 seed, a senior out of Clayton High School, a record of 14-3 this year, 43-14 in his career, Everett Moore. At 140 pounds, the number 2 seed is a senior from Clearview with a record of 22-1 this year, 86-16 in his career. 1st in District 29 and 3rd in Region 8 at 140 pounds last year. 2nd in the district as a sophomore and junior, Mark Cartella. His opponent, the number 1 seed, a junior out of Pittman High School. His record is 14-1 this year, 69-14 in his career. 1st in District 29 and 1st in Region 8 at 135 pounds last year. 2nd in District 29 and 1st in Region 8 as a freshman, Karis Cooper. At 145 pounds, the number 3 seed is a freshman from West Deptford. He has a record of 13-9 this year, Rob DiPolito. His opponent, the number 1 seed, is a sophomore out of Paulsboro. A record of 27-3 this year, 51-12 in his career. 2nd in District 29 at 140 pounds last year, Trevor Suter.
At 152 pounds, the number 3 seed is a sophomore from West Deptford. A record of 16-5 this year, 24-16 in his career, C.J. Morena. His opponent, the number 1 seed, is a junior from Clearview. A record of 19-6 this year, 44-27 in his career. Second in District 29 at 145 pounds last year, Mark Maraca. At 160 pounds, the number 2 seed is a junior from Paulsboro. He has a record of 18-9 this year and in his career, Eric DiTono. His opponent, the number 1 seed, is a senior from Pittman. A record of 23 wins and 4 losses this year, 68-32 in his career. Fourth in District 29 at 160 pounds last year, Dan Larson. At 171 pounds, the number 2 seed is a junior from Paulsboro. A record of 28-1 this year, 64-12 in his career. First in District 29 and second in Region 8 at 160 pounds last year, Zach Guerin. His opponent is the number 1 seed, a senior from Deptford High School. A record of 22-0 this year, 82-22 in his career. Second in District 29 and second in Region 8 at 189 pounds last year. Second in District 29, third in Region 8 as a sophomore, Alexis Aquino. At 189 pounds, the number 2 seed is a junior from Clearview. A record of 25-1 this year, 61-15 in his career. Third in the district, fourth in Region 8 last year, Jason Hatchell. His opponent, the number 1 seed, is a senior from Paulsboro. A record of 21 wins and 3 losses this year, 101-15 in his career. First in the district, third in the region, 6th in the state at 189 pounds last year. First in the district, third in the region as a sophomore, and third in the district as a freshman, James Funk. At 215 pounds, the number 2 seed is a senior from Clearview. 21 wins and 4 losses this year, 64 wins, 29 losses in his career. Third in District 29 and fourth in Region 8 at 275 pounds last year. Third in District 29 is a sophomore, Jesse Eisenhart. His opponent, the number 1 seed, is a senior from Paulsboro. He has a record of 17-0 this year, 103-15 in his career. First in the district, second in the region, third in the state at 215 last year. First in the district, first in the region, 7th and 8th in the state as a sophomore. First in the district and 4th in the region at 189 pounds as a freshman, Mike Mendenhall. At 275 pounds, the number 2 seed is a senior from Clearview. He has a record of 23-0 this year, 67-12 in his career. Second in District 29 at 215 pounds last year. Third in the district as a sophomore, John Hatchell. His opponent, the number 1 seed, is a senior from Paulsboro. He has a record of 29-0 this year, 133 wins and 6 losses in his career. The all-time state leader in wins in a career by a heavyweight. He is tied with Damian Hahn of Lakewood for the all-time record in states for pins in a career, a 3-time district, 3-time region heavyweight champion who has finished 5th, 3rd, and 1st in 3 trips to the state tournament, Tom Curl.
All right, Nick, that's the introductions. We'll have all the action coming up next from Gloucester County College. And welcome back to Gloucester County College as we get ready for 103 pounds. David Smith, the number 1 seed of Paulsboro, 27-2. Alex Rakowski, a freshman from West Deptford High School. Nick, and Rakowski's not just an ordinary freshman.
No, I don't think so. I mean, they had a very good match the first time meeting this year. Rakowski winning by 3 points. So this is a toss-up.
Yeah, Smith won actually the first time.
That's correct.
3-0.
Smith, I'm sorry, that's right.
Nothing yet, but I'll tell you what, that's early on. And this just, you know, you advance and you mature so much quicker when you get to these kind of matches.
Well, you have no choice. I mean, as the tournament goes on, you have to get stronger because, you know, some of the weaker wrestlers fall out, and all you're going to get are top-notch wrestlers.
His other loss was to Frank Gajewski at Delsey, 5-1. Smith's 2 losses were in the Deep Creek tournament, so he's yet to lose in the state of New Jersey since Paulsboro wrestled in the Caldwell tournament. And obviously all their dual meets were in state. Scoreless in the first 50 seconds of this match. You got the scouting report on Rakowski before this match?
A little bit. I talked to Jackie Dean earlier tonight, and this is Jackie's stepson. And Jack Dean, of course, no stranger to South Jersey wrestling. Dean family from West Deptford. Dennis Dean wrestled when I was around. Jackie, a little older than I.
He's a tall 103-pounder also. Still scoreless.
You know, John, I think what you'll see tonight in some of these matches is once you get into the finals, the wrestlers become a little bit tentative. I mean, they made it. The toughest round, I think, and probably the best round of wrestling is the semifinals. A lot of pressure off of you after winning the semis because now you're at least advancing. You get a better seed going on to the regions. So I think you'll see a lot of tentative wrestling until one person makes the first shot, and then I think the action starts going.
Sure, forces you to make something happen after that.
15 seconds.
Wrestlers go out. Smith advanced to the finals with a fall at 5:05 over Coveley, West Coveley of Clearview. We're going to end the first period without a score. Rakowski got to the finals pinning Derek Brown of Pittman, 3 minutes and 16 seconds.
On the scoreboard again, the wrestler with the red ankle or red uniform.
Paulsboro has the choice, and they take the bottom position, which is very smart when there's no score, because the first person to score gets that advantage if it goes down to a tiebreaker.
Be interesting to see. First match of the night, you also get an indication how the referees are going to judge the match, whether or not they're going to be cautions, throw stallings. So not only the first match is tentative for the wrestlers, it's also tentative for the refs on the match because it'll set the tone of the evening.
Sure. Nothing yet. Our officials tonight for the first match we have Tom Reynolds and Buddy Treen. Treen is the main official here.
Should get a stalemate here.
Also have Mike Beyerschmidt and Jim White working, so a little rotating going on.
Rakowski with the cross body ride in, power half. So it looks like he's going to be a leg rider tonight, and what Smith needs to do is when he's first move, he needs to clear his ankles, get wrist control, and break free because, you know, all you need is just a little bit of light. You can throw the legs in anywhere, and this is where you end up.
Right.
And then Smith is looking for a stalemate here so he can start over.
Good call.
I think I remember how to do this stuff. It's starting coming to me.
What's interesting, Nicky used to do the matches with us way back when. And back then we used to tease you how your name keeps dropping down or drop down on the win record here in South Jersey. You're still on the book. 79 career wins.
Good sit-out, turnout. Looks like Smith's going to get a neutral. Gets the neutral, John, with 47 seconds left in the second period. Yeah, getting back to that, we may have to lobby the next few years to go to 2 pages of the program book because, you know, the wrestlers are getting many, many matches now, and deservedly so. There's some good wrestlers.
There's Smith with a takedown, so the first takedown of the night, and he has a 3-0 lead. 35 seconds left in period number 2.
Yeah, that was a nice job by Smith, getting underneath, back heel trip, getting the takedown.
West Deptford has a couple really good freshmen, and this is just a first. We'll see another one, DePolito at 145. Couple good underclassmen.
15 seconds. At the end of this period, we'll call it 50-50 at the end of this period.
Smith working underneath. He'll try tilt from here. About 5 seconds left. I'm not so sure he'll get it.
He has to watch out. You don't want to give up any points late here. If you're Smith, Rukowski would like to steal a point there, lady. Trails 3-0. 3-0 was the score the first time these two wrestlers went at it.
1-9.
There's another contribution after I lost my 50-50, Nick.
Yeah. You know, a few years back, John, I was doing a show with Bob Shyrock, and I got the 50-50 tickets out, and, you know, I'm excited. Looks like we're going to maybe win one of these things. And I told Bob, I said, Bob, you know, I'm from Paulsboro. Mrs. Vogeny runs the 50-50s. I just donate because I'm not so sure they even pull the 50-50. Hey, John, I pulled my tickets out. Mrs. Vogeny gave me both halves of the ticket. I wasn't even in the drawing. That's a true story.
I'm sure she'll hear about this Tuesday.
I tell her every time. Every time.
Dave Smith starting on top, period number 3. He has the 3-0 lead. Smith, 25-2 this year.
Smith has a very nice upper on top ride with that Hamilton. You know, you're safe when you do that type of ride because, you know, it is a pinning combination and you won't get stalled for it as long as it looks like you're working on it.
Just to watch out here. Rukowski trying to get out. Smith holding on.
Rukowski did a nice job by elevating, getting his hips clear, breaking the Hamilton ride, and getting in a position where he can either get a neutral or a reversal. You see Smith still holding on to that leg, looking for a stalemate. If he can hold on to it, he'll get a stalemate. And that's what he does.
So what Rukowski has to do is trying to get out quick. We're going to have a caution on Paulsboro. There's Ralph Ross saying on the whistle, got to clear that right arm. A lot of times that's easier said than done.
Oh, it's great being a fan and it's great being a coach because you know all the moves. Just can't execute them.
Smith working for back points. That's what he has to keep doing. Rukowski's going to try and get out, try and get one, get to his feet, maybe get the late takedown to tie this match up.
See Smith working to the side. So he's got to watch himself because he's from behind, but he's got the ride in. As long as he's working that ride, he won't be called for stalling.
There you see the clock, 26 seconds. Of course, Rukowski's got to start working on the bottom too.
Yep.
There's the stall. This time on Paulsboro.
Well, you know, that can go either way. What Smith needs to do, you know, you need to be an actor a little bit. You need to get to the side, maybe try to take it over. You stay behind a little too long, you get called for stalling. You know, I don't think that's a bad call.
10 seconds left.
See, technically right here, you could be called for stalling again because the knee is in between his legs, riding from behind. But with only 3 seconds left, I'll let this one run out.
So Dave Smith, the 3-0 winner. He lost 11-7 in the final last year. Let's take a look at some highlights. This is from the consolations earlier. Tovley and Brown. Derek Brown of Pittman. You see him in control of this match. And this happened about an hour and a half before the finals started. And Brown with the 3-0 win over West Tovley earlier tonight. And Brown from Pittman will also advance as the top 3 winners. Advance to Absegami. Did you ever get to wrestle at Absegami, or was Pittman? Or Vineland,
We wrestled at Vineland, yep. So I guess I was, my senior was class of 80, he was at Vineland.
All right. Just to remind everybody, Nick, you're now 72nd on the all-time record, career win list on District 29, 72. Of course, in your defense, a lot more matches nowadays with tournaments and the state tournament and wrestlebacks.
Yeah, I'm not so sure I would have won any more. Maybe it was good we didn't have as many.
112, we have Pat Adair of West Deptford against Vince Lipsy of Deptford. Lipsy won last year at 103 pounds. So Smith, by the way, with that 3-0 win, was the same score he won in the dual meet. Lipsy picked up an 18-4 win over Tom Johnson to get to the finals. And Adair with a 3-1 win over Chris Cartella of Clearview to advance. course, these two met earlier in the year, Nick, and as they did, as we talked about the 103-pound match, Lipsy was a 10-3 winner over Adair the first time they met.
Circle, circle. Come on, gangster. Go, move. Get inside of that. There you go. Get inside of that.
You know, John, psychologically, when you wrestle someone 1 or 2 times during a year, you know, things change. You know, if you're Lipsy, you got a little bit of confidence in you. If you're Adair, you say, you know what, I lost during the year. I'm an underdog. I'm supposed to lose. Maybe I'll go do something different, maybe change a little bit. But it's difficult wrestling someone 2 or 3 times. Win or lose, you know, it's just different type of pressure.
Right. And this weight class was reseeded because Howard Lounsbury of Paulsboro was originally the number 2 seed. Emergency appendectomy earlier in the week forced him out of the tournament. They reseeded Adair, now the number 2 seed, so we have the top 2 seeds making it to the finals.
That's unfortunate, but I guess, you know, looking on the bright side, he's only a sophomore.
Right.
He gets to come back. You know, if it's a senior, your senior year, that's devastating, all the hard work you do.
There's Adair in on the leg, still no control for either wrestler.
He's in deep, he needs to penetrate, get to the side.
This is a mirror image of the 103-pound match where we'll have a scoreless first period with 2 seconds left. And that's where we are, 0-0. This is where the toss is key. And Adair takes the bottom position. You know, Nick, we did a lot of matches with Voge this year. We saw a lot of times after a scoreless first period where a wrestler deferred and just we would shake our heads, and it really came back at one match we did where a burner wrestler, because it went down to that bottom position when you can choose that 30-second ride out, ended up costing a wrestler.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's where everyone needs to participate. That's where the coaching staff needs to think about the entire match, not just that one period. Need to think about 1 or 2, 3 periods down in the event of overtime.
Sure. Lipsy's a junior, 20 wins and 4 losses this year.
A nice job trying to bar the arm.
Adair's got to start moving on the bottom. Lipsy trying to turn. Adair doing a nice job fighting that one off.
You know, as long as Adair stays on his belly like that, Lipsy's going to be able to execute this move. He's got to get to his base. That's a good job right there. Finally gets to his base. Now he needs a little bit of wrist control, and he can try to start over.
Looks like Tom Reynolds was talking to him too. I don't know if he was telling him, look, start wrestling on the bottom.
Adair gets his left arm up. He can get neutral here. See, he's got the head. Keeps backing out, trying to get that left arm through. He can get one.
And he got it.
And there it is. That's a good job by Adair. Finally was able to get to his base. You know, when Lipsy let off on the arm bar there, let off on the pressure, Adair was able to get to his base and get the neutral.
15 seconds.
We go back to the center, 1-0 lead. Pat Adair of West Deptford High School. West Deptford sending 6 to the finals. Deptford sending 2. Alexis Aquino we'll see him later on at 171 in a big matchup against Zach Guerin. Right now, Vince Lipsy trying to get his 2nd straight district title. And he'll start period number 3 down 1-0. Take a look earlier at the consolations. Tom Johnson and Chris Cartella. Johnson of Gateway picked up the 9-6 win in this match. Johnson from Gateway, that combined program with Woodbury. So Johnson advances and moves on.
Good stand up by Lipsy. But they are able to get the cross body right in.
stalemate.
You could see Adair. He had to cross body ride and looked like he was going to try for the far side cradle, but wasn't able to get enough movement, so the stalemate was called.
And I like a ref that calls the stalemate quick.
Yeah, you know, it's good that the ref understands where the next move's going, because if he sees it's locked up and there's no movement, he'll call it. So it's good to have an experienced ref out there that actually understands, you know, the techniques. See, Adair got a little high on his cross body ride. Lipsy's able to shake him off. No points yet, because Adair still has a Peterson ride in.
Has that arm around Lipsy's leg. He's got to watch out. He's going to give up the one, maybe two. Just the one.
Got the neutral.
Tied at 1 with 1 minute to wrestle. He's got to look out. Lipsy can spin around and get the takedown. Nice job by Adair to get that leg in.
It's a stalemate. You could see Adair did it. It looked like a Western ride from behind on Lipsy, and Lipsy was just not able to spin behind because that one leg was trapped. So it was a good call for a stalemate. This is where now the wrestlers are going to start loosening up a little bit. It's 1-1, 45 seconds left in the third period. You don't want to go in overtime. You want to win it right now.
Neither wrestler has been called for a stall, so that's not going to come into effect. So Adair took the last shot. This effort coached by Ralph Ross. Joe Hollywood, former state champion, head coach at Deptford.
So, John, we may have our first overtime match of the evening, just the second match of the night.
I remind everybody that Adair got the first points. So if it's a 1 minute overtime, and if no one scores, then Adair gets his choice of the top or bottom, and it's 30 seconds. And we still have a minute to wrestle because we're going to go into overtime. Maybe we got overtime. Lipsy took that shot late. So here we go. If it's still tied, then we'll go to that 30-second ride out. And I think this is where the officials are going to let the wrestlers decide it. You want to see any? I don't think you'll see any stalls called here. Lipsy in on the leg. Has Adair in trouble. He's got to bring him down right, and he brought him down right to his back.
He can release him. The match will be over.
And he does. 3-1. Vince Lipsy in overtime.
Just 12 seconds in overtime. He finally got the single, picked him up, brought him to the mat for the victory.
We'll take a break. We'll come back to Gloucester County College after this timeout. Back at Gloucester County College, Matt Coloretti, a senior from Gloucester Catholic, 21-5, goes up against Ryan O'Hara, a senior, 25-3. O'Hara, returning district champ at this weight class. And Coloretti, last year was 4th in the district. Of course, all of O'Hara's losses were in the preseason tournaments. In the Caldwell and Deep Creek, lost twice at Caldwell, 2 one-point matches, and then was pinned by Christian Strahler from Great Bridge, who's one of the top 19-pounders in the country. Already they'll go right after O'Hara, but O'Hara fights it off. Nice move by O'Hara.
Good job by Coloretti, not giving up on the double. You see how he stayed inside? O'Hara had the wizard in, tried to get out with the wizard, but Coloretti just stayed with it, got to the outside, and got the takedown.
1 minute remaining, period, 1 minute.
A lot of wrestlers, John, you'll see, once they're in deep and they get the first wizard on them or the first defense against them, will stop the move. They'll back off and try to start over. That was a good job by Coloretti.
You'll see O'Hara on the bottom now because we've watched him for a few years. Very active on the bottom. I see him always moving, and a lot of times you'll see him get the reversal from the bottom position. See what happens here. It's 35 seconds to wrestle. Period number 1. He trails 2-0.
O'Hara has great hips. He'll do little rolls. He'll step over. He'll double grapevine. There's the Granby. There's the neutral. Very good with his hips.
Now 2-1.
15.
Ryan O'Hara has 102 career wins, picked up his 100th career win against Roselle Park in the New Jersey State Group 1 Finals last week. O'Hara starts on the bottom, his choice. There you see.
Granby. Nothing yet. Got a lateral drop. He's got the reversal.
We'll try and step over.
Very confident on the bottom. You see, he's just not concerned about rolling around on his back. That just comes with experience. 100 wins gives you that experience. Gives you an opportunity to try moves that otherwise you wouldn't. O'Hara working the bar arm series. Going to drag him over and try to tilt.
Mark Beyerschmidt, the head official in this match, he's out there with Jim White.
Here come the back points. So O'Hara just does a nice job with the hips. See, he's got the leg up, elevates Coloretta's legs.
Well, he likes that tilt now. He's watching work. Coloretti.
So he figure fours the head. This is how he pinned in the semifinals today. Coloretti won't get out of that.
There he got it. 3 minutes, 3 minutes and 2 seconds. Ryan O'Hara for Paulsboro High School with the win.
Again, hips. Did you see how he barred the arms? Used the hips to come around front. Figure forward the head. At that point in time, it's just a matter of time and when the pin happens.
Take a look at some highlights of the consolation match at 119 pounds. Bob Bastine, who was a champ last year at 112 pounds, going up against Jason Brown. And Bastine picks up the win 6-3. Round of Clearview, and Bastine will advance for the second year in a row. Wraps the gamut.
John, the consolations are so important now. Because you know what? You get to advance to the next round. You stay alive.
And this year,
any given Saturday, anything can happen. So, you know, just advancing. You know, you may be disappointed that you've lost, but the idea is to continue wrestling on so you can place.
Right, and I think they're going to have wrestlebacks this year at Regions for the first time, so. Go to 125, we have Chris Thomas from Pittman High School, the #1 seed. David Schilling of West Effort's the #2 seed. Schilling's a junior, 18-4. Thomas, junior, 23-4. Schilling made a lot of noise his freshman year, and then just had some problems with head injuries and concussions, and forced him to miss all of last year, part of his freshman year. Thomas got here, defeating Leroy Parker of Paulsboro. 8-7. Watch this move by O'Hara, Nick.
See how he's got the bar, the arm bar. He's going to use his hips. He's going to step over the head. He's going to figure for the head. Look at the shoulders. Look like they're perpendicular with the mat. As soon as you put the figure four in and you start extending, hips down, head up, the shoulders go right to the mat. That's just a well-executed move.
That was your favorite move, wasn't it, when you were in high school? Late 70s, early 80s, dating you. We have an injury timeout. See Dave Schilling being attended to. Actually, Schilling has 3 losses. Or, no, 4 losses. I have it right, 18-4. He's a couple of his losses are pretty good wrestlers. C.J. Mays of Oakcrest, Brian Zane of Delsey.
Quality wrestlers.
Pittman had a fine season, making it to the South Jersey Group 1 Finals, and speaking to a lot of people in Trenton, they thought Pittman might have been the second best team in the state in Group 1. Would definitely think they would give Roselle Park a good good battle, if not beat Roselle Park.
You know, on paper, it looked that way. I mean, after you saw the results
Sure.
from the states, you know, that's happened a few times in South Jersey wrestling where, you know, the number 2 team out of South Jersey in the Group 1 could very easily have been the number 2 team in the state.
Yeah, many years when you worked with Bob Schrack, remember Glassboro and Paulsboro used to battle in Glassboro for many times. The second best team.
Oh, yeah, that's some great teams.
Pittman High School sending 4 wrestlers to the final.
Nice crowd here tonight at Gloucester County College. Yeah, I'm very impressed. I mean, you know, sometimes wrestling slacks off a little bit, but District 29, the fans, you know, they come out.
Well, I was here for the semis on Friday night. Spent a lot of time talking to Boyd Sands, and that was his 3rd district of the night. He was working his way north to south, and he said by far the best crowd.
Is that right?
Of any district, and that just tells you about wrestling down here.
They appreciate it. I mean, the people in Gloucester and District 29 counties, you know, they appreciate the sport.
Gloucester County does draw 1 school from Camden County, that being Gloucester Catholic. No score. And Wayne Rochelle tells Chris Thomas, take the bottom. Pittman's coached by Wayne Rochelle, assistant Bill Chiaffi.
Well, I remember Wayne Rochelle on his father, Wayne Rochelle, was one of our assistant coaches. I remember that little guy on his knee on Mr. Michelle's lap when I was wrestling. Little Wayne Rochelle running around.
Gives you some idea of how old you are, Nick.
That's right.
This is the 3rd West Deptford wrestler we've seen so far in the first 4 weight classes. As we mentioned, West Deptford sending 6 to the final. No score. And as we said, Thomas on the bottom to start period number 2.
Of course, Wayne is one of those 4-time
Oh, Schilling has Thomas in
look
lots
at that.
of trouble.
Boy, he's in trouble.
It's over.
That quickly. That quickly. The number 2 seed wins the District 29 title. Got to stay focused in wrestling at all time. He had the half, he barred it, ran it that quickly.
2 minutes and 17 seconds for that pin. Let's take a look at what happened earlier. Leroy Parker of Paulsboro against Corey Wilson of Gateway. A lot of scoring in this match there. You see Parker getting some back points on his way to a 12-6 win. So Parker of Paulsboro, the junior, advances to Absegami along with Thomas and Schilling.
Second place, 119 pounds, Gloucester Catholic High School, Matt Coloretti.
Okay, we're going to take a break. We'll come back to Gloucester County College after this timeout. And welcome back to Gloucester County College. Premier matchup at 1:30. Kyle Mancuso, a 2-time district champ out of West Deptford High School, going up against Jared Mercado of Pittman. And last year, Mercado finished 2nd in the districts because he was in that same weight class as Jimmy Rollins, and finished 6th in the state. Also finished 2nd in the regions, I believe, too. So,
well, John, this is one of the premier matchups you had in the beginning of the show, and I think you're right. And you know what, this is the last match we saw with Schilling's pinning has got to be a great morale booster for Mancuso, because, you know, if you take a look at the practice room, they all practice together. So
Sure.
the Pittman wrestlers, you know, the first 3 weight classes practice together. So, you know, psychologically, Mancuso's got to say, you know what, Schilling's can do it, I can do it.
Mercado's only loss was to Chris Wilson, 5-3, and that was in a Jackson Invitational. It was a tournament held, and I don't know what we don't call it, an All-Star Classic or whatever, but it counted towards their records. Wilson's one of the top 30 pounders in the state of New Jersey, so obviously a quality loss. There is such a thing as a quality loss.
You know, only wrestling those types of tournaments just gets you the experience. You know, you get a flavor of what you're going to be, you know, wrestling later on in the season, hopefully.
There's a stalemate. We go back to the center. Let's take a look at this pin. I know some of the Pittman people were a little upset at the call, but you can just see this one coming.
Well, you know what? He rode the power half. He had the forearm barred. You know, that quickly, you can get pinned. If you don't fight it, if you think that you can just let it and then eventually move out of it, you have to get on the defense very quickly because of the leverage on that half Nelson, and with that far arm barred, you know, it's tough to get out. So when you feel the half, you got to look away.
This is another match that's scoreless in the first period. Except for the match at 119 where we had O'Hara scoring and Coloretti scoring. Every other match has been scoreless after the first period. We're 15 seconds left here in the first period, no score.
It's almost like a boxing match. You know, the wrestlers are feeling
Mercado has Mancuso in trouble and gets the takedown.
But I was saying before the takedown, it's almost like a boxing match. You just go out, you feel your opponent, you find out where the weaknesses, where the strengths are. But then in wrestling, you got to wrestle 6 minutes, and Mancuso let down just for that split second, and he gets taken down.
Just to show you how far Mercado has come. His freshman year, 8-8. Last year, 33-6, 6th in the state. And this year so far, 26-1. 67-15 for his career. And he has the 2-0 lead here in period number 2.
Well, John, these guys wrestle all year round. Wrestling's the type of sport, you know, you really can't take time off for the summer. You have to wrestle year round because everyone else is.
Potentially dangerous.
You gave your medals to 125 pounders. First, second, and third place. Be ready to come forward.
Of course, the wrestlers fill out these forms for us, and I love Kyle Mancuso's favorite pastime.
What is it?
Chilling.
Oh, I like that too. Well, I was on the couch when you called me.
We were chilling.
I was using the clicker. I was watching 5 channels.
Mancuso trying to break his man down.
Mancuso's tough on this cross-body ride.
Try that one again. Gets called again on that potentially dangerous.
Well, you know, I'm taking a look at Mercado and the flexibility he has because that arm coming back just didn't look natural.
Nah.
I mean, if Mercado is not as flexible as he is, you know, that's a serious injury coming. The refs called it on time, though. Cross-body ride, bring that arm behind your head. It's a very tough move.
We're going to take a break. We have an injury timeout. More action from Gloucester County College after this timeout. Back at Gloucester County College at 130 pounds, 103 left in the second period. Jared Mercado with the 2-0 lead. Now a 3-0 lead over Kyle Mancuso of West Deptford.
That was a good stand-up by Mercado. Like I said earlier, the best way to not have the legs in on you is to get out. And Mercado did a great job, had wrist control, cleared his arms, and got the neutral.
And Nikki, in the opening, we talked about Mendenhall and Curl both going for their 4th district titles. This kind of shows you how tough it is. Mancuso has won district titles his first 2 years, but you know, there's always somebody out there battling you. And right now, it's Jared Mercado.
I think it's the most difficult thing to repeat because, you know, they're out to get you. You are the target. You always wrestle a little bit cautious. So, you know, how you win 4 district titles or 4 region titles is just, it's amazing.
We're going to head into the third period with a 3-0 lead for Mercado.
So Mancuso is going to get down this period, John.
Of course, Mercado lost to Rollins 6-5 in the district final and then lost again to him in the finals in the regions. Mancuso was a 10-4 winner over Eric Larson of Pittman last year at this same weight class.
Mercado using the cross-body ride. Cross-body ride to a cross-face.
It's obvious Mercado does a lot of wrestling.
A lot of confidence out there.
No back
1
punch
minute
yet.
remaining in regulation. 1 minute.
You could see where Mancuso, his strategy was, the crossbody ride was in. He was getting crossface, bridge into Mercado. If you bridge into him, you have a possibility of getting out of it. But the danger of that is you bridge right into the crossface and the possibility of giving up the back points. But Mancuso, a fine wrestler in himself, was able to get back to his face.
Trying to get his first point. Work for the takedown from there, get one, and then work for the two. But right now, Mercado's doing a nice job.
30
And
seconds.
there's the escape. Right there, it's 3-1. Mancuso could try and spin around. Might be able to tie this match up. There's only 20 seconds left.
Mancuso should be looking for a stalemate here and try to break free.
15 seconds.
That's what happens when you
tries a
try for the big
desperation.
move. Mercado's going to get two and some back points.
John, that was a desperation move by Mancuso. He looked like he was trying to front headlock, trying to roll through and go for the big move with about 15 seconds left. And he wasn't able to do it, and it cost him. It cost him a takedown and back points.
Final score 8-1. Jared Mercado over Kyle Mancuso. Let's take a look at what happened earlier in the day in the consolations at 130 pounds. Tim Hart of Deptford and Chuck Martell of Paulsboro. And Martell with convincing 12-0 win. That fresh, he's going to be a pretty good wrestler. He's only a freshman for Paulsboro. And there's a kid that shows no fear.
Yeah, I know he started wrestling late in the Paulsboro tradition, so I guess he doesn't understand fear yet. But no, he's going to be a fine one for Paulsboro if he sticks with it, gets into some summertime wrestling, gets some experience under his belt. You know, in any program you wrestle, if you're able to wrestle your freshman year, if you can start varsity your freshman year, you know, the experience you gain just getting on the mat is heads and tails against any other wrestler you can get, because, you know, wrestling varsity means a lot.
Now wrestling at 100.
Okay, we move now to 135 pounds.
A senior from Paulsboro.
Everett Moore of Clayton, a senior, 14-3, going up against Dominic Magazoo. Dominic Magazoo of Paulsboro, a senior, 18-12. You know, Nick, Clayton High School has never had a district champion.
John, I read that this year in the program book. I read it as one of the district quizzes, and I really was amazed.
Moore is 14-3.
Either that, I read it in the paper, but I really was amazed, you know, because Clayton's had some nice wrestlers. It just goes to show how difficult this tournament is.
Of course, the #1 seed in this tournament, Hans van Brill, lost in the semifinals, injury default to Moore. Moore was winning that match, however. And then in the other side, Magazoo with a 1-0 win over Eric Larson of Pittman. And Moore with the 2-0 lead.
A nice takedown by Moore. Went into a single, changed to a double. Magazoo not fighting it off, gets to his base, and Moore gets the takedown.
Of course, last year at 135 pounds, the winner of this weight class is here, but not on the same team. Karis Cooper of Paulsboro was a champion last year. Pinned Kevin Sharp of Gloucester Catholic to win the title at 135 last year. Cooper will be seeing next in a Pittman uniform.
So, John, is it safe to say that PHS has 10 people in the finals tonight? I guess you could say Pittman High School and then Paulsboro High School. Paulsboro has 9.
Pittman has 4.
13. 4. Okay, 13.
First Clayton High School, coached by Dan Antonelli, the District 29 Coach of the Year. Whose team got off to a rough start this year, Nick, and has battled back and qualified for the playoffs.
45 seconds.
Moore's losses, Jack Brown of Pensgrove, he lost 14-7. He was pinned by Nick Favrito of Shalleck, and he lost to Karis Cooper 13-5. Some quality losses. There we see Dan in the background, just over Moore's shoulders, the Coach of the Year. Also coaches the soccer team.
You know, Moore was just called for stalling on that. I guess the call could have been, you know, he was riding him on top and then maybe riding him out of bounds and not trying to bring him down. So Moore's got to be careful a little bit too, because he's got to get to the side. He's got that one stall against him. He's got to look like he's making some tilts. Look like he's got to get to the side, throw some halves in. This bar arm series works well.
He's doing a nice job keeping Magazine down, riding him out.
It's a good tilt combination he has.
Time runs out in period number 1. Everett Moore of Clayton with the 2-0 lead. Moore came in seeded 4th in the tournament. Moore starts the second period on the bottom. Go back to the center. There's a white line on the mat by the coaches that the coaches aren't supposed to step over. I don't think I've seen a single coach obey that rule yet.
I was wondering what the white line was there for. John, was that a District 29 rule that they put in, do you think?
Oh, they said it in the meeting this afternoon, so. Of course, there you see the line. It's almost impossible to stay behind that line because you're right in the corner of the mat.
Reminder, all first place wrestlers remain in uniform with a team picture at the conclusion.
Moore trying to reach back and grab Magazoo's head. Magazoo's got to work his way up that body or he's going to be hit, and now he lets him go. It's 3-0 now for Moore.
That's a good job by Moore. You know, he's been trying to stand up, finally gets to stand up, gets the escape. .104 left, second period.
One minute remaining in the period.
For Magazoo, what I've watched a few matches this year, Johnny, he doesn't quit. He always goes after you. So we'll see if conditioning helps him out in this match.
As Magazoo plays soccer, tennis, so obviously he's in shape. I don't know about the tennis part, but the soccer part keeps you in shape. I know that.
Good takedown by Moore.
Nice takedown. He's in control. 5-0, 30 seconds left in the period. Says on Magazoo's sheet he plans to attend the University of Maryland. Nice school in the ACC.
Good stand-up, wrist control. Magazoo needs to clear his hips, gets the wrist control. There's another stall.
There's a
on
point.
Moore. So that'll be 1 point for Magazoo. That's what Magazoo needs to keep doing in this match, is standing up, get on the offense, try to get something going.
He does a nice job, though, to hold on. So he has a 5-1 lead. Magazoo will start on the bottom to start period number 3. Of course, there was no consolation match at 133. Van Burl was injured in his semifinal match, so Eric Larson of Pittman advanced through.
And there's the escape. Magazoo stood up. Didn't look like Moore really tried to hold on to him. So Magazoo got the one, and now Moore is in on the single leg.
Magazoo fights it off. Now he'll go after the shot, but gets a little sloppy. Magazoo holding on to that leg. That's the only thing stopping him from being taken down.
And that's what happened, John. Magazoo shoots in, head down, able to hold on to one leg. Needs to switch to a double, pick him up and bring him back in, possibly back heel trip. Gets a little extended. Moore is able to keep that wizard in and fight him off. Moore trying for a spladle. He's got it. It could be a pin. Oh my! Oh my! And that's it!
That's it by Moore, and that oh my was for my friend John Vojadine.
There you go, you called it. Clayton High School picks up their first District 29 champion.
What a great job. Magazoo set that move up by shooting it head down and not keeping the leg and not moving forward. And that gave Moore the opportunity to put the spladle in. And once the spladle's in, it's very difficult to get out of. That's good for Clayton getting their first win.
Take a look at the move again. Watch Magazoo. We'll look at his head, like you said, with the head down, taking that shot.
Moore just does a nice job. Magazoo keeps his head inside of Moore's hip, and with his head inside, it traps it. Then Moore steps through and gets a spladle. Once it's in, you can see it's very difficult to get out.
Okay, we get ready for 140 pounds. Another big matchup. We have a couple returning district champs. Mark Cartella, a senior, second in the districts as a freshman, second as a sophomore. Last year won this district, and he goes up against Karis Cooper, Paulsboro. Last year, Pittman, last year winning the title at Paulsboro. Finished second as a freshman, but as a two-time region champ. You don't see that too often, do you?
I tell you what, he's on, I guess, on the pace to be one of those four-time winners.
So on pace as a four-time region winner, but only a three-time district winner. But I tell you what, it's a tough battle tonight.
Again, it's the same thing. You get out of it. It's District 29 is a very difficult district. At times, it's probably the best district in the state.
Of course, he lost in the district finals. Cooper, as we're talking about his freshman year, to Jesse Aquino, who was Alexis Aquino's brother. Younger, smaller brother, I should say. Older, smaller brother, I mean. Cooper's one loss this year to Walter Hessert of Haddonfield. He was pinned in that match. It was when he first came back. Of course, he had to sit out 30 days. And Cartella's only lost to Joe Galenti of Ocean City 3-1. And Galenti's going to be going 45.
Oh, look at that.
2-point takedown. That's just the speed of Cooper. I had a chance to see Cooper wrestle against Paulsboro. He wrestled Suter, and he just used that speed to his advantage. And here we take a look at the Clearview bench. John Marinelli on the right, he's the head coach. That's Bob Bruno as his assistant.
And John, I watched Cooper wrestle over the past few years. He is so quick. Sometimes he's so quick he doesn't finish the move. He can hit 4 or 5 moves and sometimes not finish them.
Cooper with the 2-1 lead. Of course, Pittman in the Tri-County Classic Division. Clearview in the Tri-County Royal, the Classic, the smaller schools in the Tri-County, the Classic, the bigger schools. Cartel with the shot. Cooper fights that one off.
See the quickness? Cooper throws the wizard in, just brings him back up with it, and fights it off.
Quick little flurry early on, but that's all our scoring. It's 2-1 after one period of wrestling. They're now about 3 or 4 deep in the back there, standing room only. Cartel starts the period on the bottom. Cartel defeated Trevor Suter last year, pinned him in 3 minutes and 12 seconds, as we talked about, at 140 pounds last year. Meanwhile, Cooper was at 135 when he won his district title last year.
Tell you, Cartel's doing a nice job by standing up, trying to get wrist control. We've only gone 11 seconds in the second period. At some point in time, you may see Cooper just let him go and go back to his feet.
We'll also see who's in the best condition, because I have a feeling this one's going to go to distance. If it stays close, the best conditioned wrestler might win.
Cartel, there you go. See, Cartel has been doing a nice job standing up. Sometimes it's difficult to fight off. You might as well get to your feet and see if you can get the takedown.
Not a mat space.
I noticed that a lot this tournament. A lot of wrestlers going onto the gymnasium floor.
Make the mat bigger. What are your ideas? Steel cage.
That's
Paris Cooper with the only takedown early in the first period. We have 1:15 to wrestle in the second. We're tied at 2. Cartel has 2 points coming on escapes, one in the first and one in the second.
I think Cartel is wrestling a smart match. He's being patient. He's not rushing anything. By being patient, I think that neutralizes Cooper's speed.
Right.
Shot here. Now you score.
Stall warning against Cooper.
Interesting call. I mean, Cooper just did a duck under and looked like he made an attempt for a takedown.
Pittman coaching staff didn't like the call. Cartel not letting Cooper get underneath.
30 seconds.
Cooper again, this time Cartel in on the leg, 20 seconds left. Cooper just trying to get out. Nice job by Cooper to turn around. He can just stay there. We'll either see a stalemate or the period's going to run out.
Just a nice job by Cooper, knowing where he was on the mat. He saw he was right on the line. He saw he had an opportunity that if he got in trouble, he could do one good move, take one step, be right on the line, and get out of trouble. That's experience. I mean, that right there is mad experience.
Well, we go to period number 3. Cooper starts on the bottom. If he can get out, he's going to force Cartel to get a takedown. There's only been one so far in the match, and that belongs to Cooper. Blood timeout.
Yeah, we're going to have an injury timeout here. Looks like Cartel may be bleeding a little bit. Again, Cooper's very fast on the bottom, so I look for this thing to end on their feet.
This is the consolation match. This is Pat Byrne, another Paulsboro freshman, with a big win over Tony Falcone of Clayton. Pins him in 4 minutes 55 seconds. Pat Byrne of Paulsboro advances. Paulsboro will, after the end of this night, advance 13 out of their 14 weight classes, and we mentioned that Howard Lonsbury was the number 2 seed in this weight class. Didn't rest because of an emergency appendectomy. Paulsboro had a chance to advance all 14 weight classes. Now, Nick, I don't know if you remember this, when we worked together years ago, Paulsboro had every wrestler in the final.
Yes.
Obviously it's tougher now with 14 weight classes, and it's just a big number shortage, I think, in high school wrestling now.
Yeah. Well, I think Lounsbury would have had a very nice opportunity to advance in this tournament. Again, the consolation of this thing is he's only a fresh sophomore.
There we see Cartella being worked on. And we see Mark Beyerschmidt, the official, looking on. His helper is Jim White. Of course, this helps Cooper. He gets a breather, gets to relax, get his breath back.
Yeah, I look for Cooper to really explode from the bottom. And Cartell's given the neutral sign, so he's going to let Cooper up. He's not even going to fight it. He's going to end this match on his feet, which is an interesting strategy because Cooper's got a stall warning against him. If Cartella takes the offense and goes after him, he could get a stall warning. Then we tie the match, and then it just comes down to who gets the takedown.
3-2. Favor of Cooper. Cartell trying to take the shot. Cooper doing a nice job fighting it off.
Nice round of wrestling. There's no control there. He's still facing him. Cartell is still facing him, but very nice lateral drop by Cooper out of bounds. Just ran out of mat space. You can see the speed, the sudden speed and quickness and the strength. He hit Cartella. Cartella gets lateral dropped out of bounds. But, you know, Cartella's smart enough to know not to lay there, face him, because if he lays there, the possibility of control and the 2 points will be given. Did a nice job by facing Cooper, getting to his stomach and getting back on his feet.
This little flurry, Cooper's the aggressor, which is nice, but the stall against him, he has to be aggressive. Still plenty of time, though, for Cartella. A minute left in the third period.
1 minute remaining in the third period. 1 minute.
We're back to the center once again. There you see the clock and the score, 3-2 Cooper, 55 seconds left. Cartella trying to spin around. Cooper quick. Got out of danger there.
I tell you, momentarily, Cartell was to the side. He was to the side for a takedown, but Cooper very quickly gets a crossface in there and gets back to his feet for the neutral.
Fans looking for stalling on Cooper as he just backed out of bounds there, along with the Clearview coaches.
As long as Cooper goes forward, he's not going to be called for stalling. He's got to show some action as he gets closer to the line because that's where it seems like he slows down a little bit and Cartell takes advantage of it. And there's the stall.
Point. We're tied at 3.
So that's the strategy. If you remember, Cartell lets him up. He works to get a stall. He's successful in getting a stall point. Now we're tied 3-3 with just 20 seconds remaining in the third period.
Now we go back to who scored the first points of the match. That belongs to Cooper. In case this goes to that ride out.
I think Cartell has got to take him down to win this match in regulation time.
Of course, the penalty points carry over. See if the official will call that. If he sees it, I don't know. In this 1 minute, first point wins.
So we're on our feet.
Cooper has the only takedown, and that was in the first period. And he's going right at Cartella. He has to.
Cartella doesn't want to have Cooper on the bottom. He wants to take him down and win this.
Seconds.
You can see Cartella working underneath as he's pushing forward on Cooper. As long as you work underneath, you know you're not in danger of getting thrown or taken down.
Cartella in on the legs. Cooper just spreads out.
See how Cartell's working underneath? The right arm is underneath the Cooper's. It's a good position. Looks like Cooper's a little frustrated out there, a little frustrated.
Taking the shot there. Well, we're going to go into that sudden death ride out, and I'm going to imagine, I can't believe Cooper would want to take bottom. He would have to take bottom, and that's what Michelle's doing. It's easy here. If Cartella rides him out for 30 seconds. He wins. If Cooper gets out, he wins.
Yeah, you know, Cooper's just so tough on the bottom, so we'll see. We'll see. I mean, earlier he got out very quickly. 30 seconds, not a lot of time. I got to tell you what, the fans really appreciate the effort going on out there.
Right. It's going to be loud 30 seconds. Caution.
It's going to be on Cooper. This is where Cooper just needs to take a deep breath, let the whistle blow, and then get out. That's a second caution, but you know what? It wasn't called.
He got away with it.
Yeah, wasn't called.
Cartella's got to work his way up the leg where he can get hooked for a stall. And Cooper got out, it's over.
There it is. That was 10 seconds into it. But both of these wrestlers did a great job. You know, both of these wrestlers very tough to keep on the mat, as you saw.
We'll take a break. We'll come back to Gloucester County College after this timeout. Welcome back to Gloucester County College. Nick, let's take a look at this overtime. Cooper does what he has to.
Yeah, you know what? You're on the bottom. He's so quick and strong. Just keep standing up, standing up. Cartella, all he can do is hold on to the leg. He tries to bring it up, but Cooper does a nice job by getting the wizard in, extending his hips out, cross-facing, and he gets the escape. Now, could it have been called too early? It looks like it may have been called too early, but no matter what, the call was made and the neutral was given. You know, that could have gone either way because Cartella dropped back down on the leg again, and we could have very easily been called out of bounds and started over. And incidentally, at the end of that match, 1 team point was deducted from Pittman. John Bogini making that announcement a few seconds ago.
Sportsmanlike conduct. Okay,
but I think that's why Cartella was a little upset because he dropped back down on the leg, possibly thought he was still in, in control.
Right. Okay, 145. A freshman and a sophomore. We have Trevor Suter, who was a District 29 runner-up last year at 140 pounds. He's from Paulsboro High School, and he's going up against Rob DiPolito, a good freshman for West Effort, despite losing 9 matches this year. A very good wrestler.
Sometimes, John, as the season goes on, you get better. Sometimes, you know, the first couple matches, you're learning how to wrestle. Very first time wrestling in front of, on the varsity match in front of people. As you get going, you get more comfortable, you start understanding how to wrestle varsity, and you start winning some matches.
DiPolito is one I heard about last year going over West Effort, but Suter has him in a lot of trouble early, and he's probably going to get 2 and 2 back points. DiPolito will get an escape also.
We're going to get injury time at it. I think DiPolito has a little blood. Just a quick move on Suter.
Okay, no back points.
Takedown.
Okay.
Steps over, which is interesting because I thought possibly he could have gotten some back points.
Okay, let's take a look at what happened earlier in the consolations. Aaron Collings going up against Christian Dixon of Pittman, and Collings with the pin, and he advances. Okay, these two guys wrestled in the dual meet, and it was a tight one, 10-8 Suter won. DiPolito was 13-9, Suter 27-3. And there we see Paul Marina, head coach at Paulsboro High School.
Tuesday night in Acton High School, wrestling will start at 5:30.
Of course, he's being assisted by Dean Duca. Last year, 145 pounds. Greg Cross of Paulsboro won by fall over Mark Maraca of Clearview, 2 minutes and 31 seconds. We're going to see Maraca coming up next at 152. Here we go, 2-1 for Suter after the blood timeout. Suter looks like he likes the upper body moves.
45 seconds.
John, when you see a wrestler liking to work upper body, shows a lot of confidence, a lot of mat experience he has.
I'll tell you what,
30 seconds.
worked upper body, and then he took the shot down low.
That's right.
4-1 lead for Suter.
Just a sophomore, but a lot of wrestling experience.
15 seconds.
Of course, his dad is Fred Suter, a wrestler at Paulsboro High School. His uncle's Matt, a 2-time state champion in the final 3 times. His other uncle, Jason, was in the final 3 times, won a state title.
And Matt is a 4-time region champ.
Period ends, 4-1 lead for Trevor Suter. There we see Ralph Ross and Brett Fetty, the assistant. Once again, another blood injury. Blood time to DiPolito.
I'm just looking at the program book here. It's Trevor Suter, as we say, but I'm looking at Paul Marini. 16 years coaching, 92 district champs, 36 region champs, 8 state champs. Pretty impressive.
And you got to add Ryan O'Hara to that list.
Yeah, I'm not going to count tonight.
No.
I can't count.
Okay.
My shoes are still on. Yeah, my shoes are still on.
Left the calculator at home. I know the whole story.
I need next year's book. And the numbers just keep growing.
Okay, we go back to start period number 2. Suter with the 4-1 lead.
30 seconds of blood time has been used by West Effort. Minute 30.
It's a wild first period. A lot of action.
You know, and it's a type of action, it's all upper body. Suter working. He attacks upper body, and tries a shot. Now back up top.
There we go again. Tying each other up. And I'm not sure if that's what DiPolito wants to do or not.
DiPolito just wants to be careful about going up top with Trevor because he's a pretty strong kid, and you can see Suter able to do like a duck under from it. But again, if you take a look at it, one way to frustrate your wrestler, your opponent, is to tie him up.
.45 seconds.
Seconds left, 6-1 lead for Suter. Suter has 3 losses this year. He lost once up at the Caldwell tournament, once at Deep Creek, and then he lost at dual meet to Karis Cooper, 4-3. And that was actually was in the South Jersey Group 1 final.
15 seconds.
Suter, just a physical wrestler on top. A lot of pressure on DiPolito, not letting him do much. Using a lot of cross faces, keeping his pressure on him.
Blood timeout, West Effort.
And we have another blood timeout.
Right, and DiPolito was hit for a stall warning right before that, and this is his 3rd blood timeout. I don't know what the blood rule is, but I know John Vogening, who's doing the PA today, announced after the 2nd one he's used up 1:30 of blood time.
At some point in time, I believe you're disqualified.
Medalists at 140 pounds, be ready to come forward and begin following the conclusion of this bout.
6 seconds left in the 2nd period, and we'll go back to the mat. Looks like DiPolito's lip.
Maximum allowable is 5 minutes.
And there we go, Voge telling us 5 minutes of blood time you can use. And the period ends, so 2 periods are complete. Trevor Suter in control, 6-1.
That's why you need a good cut doctor in your corner. Yeah. If you bleed for 5 minutes, besides bleeding for 5 minutes, not being good for your health, you may not be able to continue the match.
Apollo starts the third period on the bottom. And Suter doing what he has to do, work for the pin, working on the side, trying to turn his man.
Working a cross-base series, going into a Turk. Very physical on top.
Paolo's already been hit for one stall warning. There's the second one. That'll be a point. Paulsboro. So Suter picks up a point. He now leads 7-1.
Suter is just so physical on top. Now, and here comes the spladle. But you can see Dippolito's right arm coming out. Suter getting sloppy on it, and he gets back points, and Dippolito gets the reversal.
All right, so it's now 9-3. Suter, like O'Hara, always moving around on the bottom, though. I noticed that also this year. But you have to watch out when you expose yourself like that.
Well, you just got to be careful that you know where your hips are at all times. You just don't want to roll around because you can get caught at any moment. And that happened to a couple of very good wrestlers we've seen over the years, that they just do these rolls without any wrist control, or they do them out of control. But the best way to make a move is you got to separate some room between you and your opponent. So if you get your hips cleared, you have an opportunity to hit a move. Suter's hips are cleared. Does a spin out on his head, variation of the Peterson, comes out and gets a neutral.
And he has a 10-3 lead with 10 seconds left. And all you have to do is lock him up. But he might get another takedown before that.
And he gets it on the buzzer.
If they give it to him. Yep, 12-3. Trevor Suter of Paulsboro High School wins the District 29 championship with a 12-3 win over Rob DiPolito of West Deptford.
Suter did a nice job controlling that whole match. Very physical match for him. Never in doubt.
Right.
But you know, Dippolito, just a freshman. Look to see him again.
And for Suter, 28 wins in his sophomore season. Not bad. Let's take a look at the consolations at 152. Another Paulsboro wrestler here, Nino Palomini, going up against Tony Chapman of Deptford, and Palomini picked up a big win, 12-4. And for Nino Palomini, wrestling at 152, he advances to Apsicami High School for wrestling on Tuesday night.
You know, Palomini is one of those wrestlers, a young wrestler. More wrestling he's going to get, the better he's going to get. And what a great foot he has on the football team. Watch for him next year as the Paulsboro kicker. Spectacular foot.
They say he's very accurate. Okay, 152 pounds. Mark Maraca of Clearview. He's a junior going up against C.J. Marina of West Deptford. Maraca is the #1 seed. He defeated Palomini in the semis to get here. Marina pinned Chapman to get here. And C.J. Marina has had a great tournament so far, and he's really great with his hips. You talk about wrestlers good with their hips. That's C.J. Marina. If the name sounds familiar, his dad, Carmel Marina, state champion one day, in his time at Paulsboro. His uncle is Paul.
Marina is having a great tournament. I watched the semifinal. Well, of course, I watched the quarterfinals, but the semifinal match today, he was just all over his opponent. Dominated the whole match. You know, he beat a good kid, too, because Chapman upsets the second seed in that weight class.
And we talked about Maraca. This is Maraca's second trip. He was in the final last year against Greg Cross of Paulsboro. And Maraca with the 2-0 lead.
Nice switch by Marina.
Ties it at 2. Maraca plays football, baseball, lifts weights. Very active. (19-6) this year. And he has some quality losses. Fabrito Shalek, Trevor Suter, Brandon Becker, Joe Galente. Jim Harris of Winslow Township, he lost to twice, 9-7 in overtime, one of those scores. We're 2-2 here, 46 seconds left, first period.
Marina on top, working across body ride, trying to get across face. Getting a little high though, he could get himself in trouble here. And Maraca gets the reversal and has Marina in trouble, has him in a headlock. 30 seconds left. What Maraca needs to do is sit through, bottom leg through, needs to look up to the ceiling. He looks up to the ceiling, Marina's shoulders go to the mat. As long as Marina can stay parallel with him, he can get out of this.
He can pop his head, he can get a reversal, but he's going to run out of time.
Good job by the reversal. That's 2 points. Absolutely. That's 2 points on the buzzer. And Maraca gets 3 near fall.
So it should be 7-4, if I'm right. Yep.
If Maraca could have sat through, brought his head up, if he'd have brought his head up, and that's Maraca's head. When you look to the ceiling, John, what that does is you get perpendicular with the mat. You can't get rolled. What happened was Marina was doing a good job by staying parallel. As soon as he had the opportunity, he rolled through and got the reversal.
We have a question about the score. We see Ralph Ross over at the scorer's table.
Actually, it's a good call by Ralph to slow the match down a little bit and find out where his wrestler is. You know, when you get some points scoring like that, you want to know exactly where you are.
So you see DeSilvio and Marinelli, the brain trust of Clearview. There's the neutral star. It's now 7-5. Maraca obviously confident on his feet.
And a general rule of thumb is you let your opponent up, you got to take them down.
Wait, now it sounds like Voges here definitely had the oh my.
Is that right? There it is.
Oh,
Look at
right
that.
to his back.
There it is. He lets him up. He takes him down. He puts Marina on his back. Marina bench presses him out. And he's going to get a... Did he get a reversal, John? I couldn't see the signal.
It looked like he did.
Okay, so he got a reversal. Again, he gives up a takedown and a near fall. 5-point move to get 2 points.
Right, 12-7. You can't keep doing those trade-offs. It's the second straight time. I'm sure Maraca will keep taking those 5-for-2 trade-offs, but you don't want to do it that way.
You know, at one time Marina may not be able to get off his back. But there's still a lot of wrestling. We're only halfway through this match. These are the kind of matches I like. You know what I mean? Going at it, takedowns, throwing your back, half Nelsons, escaping.
You like the action?
Yeah, they're 1-0 matches, you know. A little slow. Appreciate the effort, don't get me wrong.
.12 to wrestle in the second period. 12-7 lead. Mark Maraca of Clearview. He's only a junior, so he'll be back. This is his second trip to the finals. It's a caution against Marina. Matter of fact, these two wrestled earlier in the year, and Maraca beat Marina 12-9.
Just happened a week ago, I think. Probably a week before the States.
Right. So they like the high-scoring matches. Another caution.
So that's 1 red.
Sure.
There's 1 red.
13-7.
So Maraca got the point. Maraca out on a switch. Looks like Marina's going to be called for holding. Excuse me, locking hands from the football. Marina trying for the big move. Not going to get it. So Maraca will get the 1 point for locking hands and then the 2 points for the reversal. And the 3-point near fall.
He's racking up the points. was going to say, I think the scoreboard was right. It's now 18-7.
Hey, Morocco's doing a nice job. He's been in control the whole match. He's taking advantage of everything that Marina's given him. If Marina gets sloppy, Morocco's able to counter it and get some points out of it.
145 pounds, be ready to complete your medals at the conclusion of this 152-pound weight class. 145 pounds.
This match, Ralph Ross is assisted by Brian Colbert, who used to wrestle at Highland High School for Ralph's father.
Highland's a program that's kind of fallen on some hard times.
And you know, with Timber Creek coming in,
Yeah.
and people keep saying Timber Creek's going to be this big wrestling school in that school district. We'll see what happens. 18-7, Morocco after 2 periods. $11 points, a lot to make up in 1 period. He needs a big move.
Well, Marina needs all of this 1 minute 50 seconds to use his leverage. Put Morocco on his back and pin him.
I know you didn't lose too much. You only had 9 career losses, but what's the biggest deficit you ever came back from?
You know, that's a good question. I don't know.
Don't fall behind.
No, I
and then
just
you don't have to worry about
yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah,
When you lose, just lose. Yeah, forget about it.
I'm losing. Forget this one.
That's one good thing about being able to commentate something. You can talk about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you got to do this, but you lose, you just lose.
Yeah. 132 left.
I was kind of thinking about that the other day. I remember I guess I started my sophomore year. I was wrestling in the Edgewood tournament. I was 8th seeded, and I was going against the 1st seed. There was like 10 seconds left in the match. I was on bottom, and I needed to put the person on his back. Stood up, just like in the wrestling, just like we drilled it. Stood up, near side cradle, put him on his back to win the match with 10 seconds.
There you go.
Just like a combination situation that Mr. Fredericks used to put us all the time. You know, you got 5 seconds left in the match, get 1, get 2. That didn't happen often, though.
No. 79-9, not a bad career there. We'd see John Marinelli with Mark Morocco in the corner.
Times have changed since then, John. Now, you don't see too many freshman teams. You don't see too many JV teams. I mean, when we wrestled back in the 80s, we were 3 or 4 deep. Sure. A couple of our JV teams could have very easily gone on and wrestled for varsity and done extremely well. But, wrestling is a demanding sport. Unfortunately, the attitude now, and I don't want to get on a soapbox. If I can't start, I'm not playing.
Yeah, that is the way.
And unfortunately, that's out there.
What we told him. Here, up and switch.
All right, I'm a shot.
So we're going in live into the
If you go back down, go back
into the
down,
corner
okay?
Flat down, get back
When
up.
of Morocco.
you switches though,
Let's go, come on, get out there. Be the first
I'm a
one.
coach right now. I'm telling Morocco, stay off your back. You're up, wrestle smart.
That's right. The good defense is a great offense. So what Morocco needs to do is on the bottom is stand up. Wrist control, head up, stand up. Just keep moving.
And Marina's going to let him go.
Well, this is the big move. I mean, this is one of those things where this is where the near side cradles come in, the far side cradles. This is where you need the headlocks, the lateral drops. It's not a position that Marina really wanted to be in, but if you're in Morocco's shoes, it's a good position. You circle a little bit, you tap, you go. Don't want to get yourself in trouble. Takes a good single, switches to a double, looks for a half, just like he's taught.
That's the takedown. 21-7.
So one more point, it's a tech fall, right, John?
Yep.
We need 15.
Yep, I think it's back points. 50 seconds, you might think about letting him go and taking him down.
Well, Marina does get the escape.
Should be 21-8, right? Oh, nope, they didn't give it to him. I think both wrestlers thought so too.
Yep.
45 seconds remaining in regulation. 45 seconds.
Morocco trying to work for the back points.
30 seconds.
Got the point, now it's 21-8. Morocco gets the takedown, he gets the tech fall.
You know, if I'm Morocco, I just make it look like I'm going for a takedown. You know, Clearview's not going to win the tournament. You know, we're at a point now, it's individual.
Right.
He gets a takedown, he gets a tech fall. It's a great job by Morocco.
Yeah.
You know, he just
like you said.
really dominated.
Yeah.
Just really dominated the match.
23-8, Mark Morocco
Final result, 152
with the win.
Mark Morocco, Clearview, win by technical.
Yeah, good for him.
152.
You know, he gets a district title. Worked hard for it, deserves it.
Super Bowl 23-8. Time 5 minutes. 50 seconds.
Hey, we moved to 160 pounds.
45 pounds. Third place.
Okay, in 160 we have Dan Larson of Pittman. He's a senior, 23-4. Eric DeTono of Paulsboro, junior, 18-9. And we'll see what happened here earlier today in the consolations. And we have Dave Bruno going up against Mark Loomis of Gateway. And watch Loomis, he works for the pin. And eventually will pin Bruno, 4 minutes, 48 seconds. So Mark Loomis of Gateway advances. Now, DeTono and Larson met in the South Jersey Group 1 final also. This one went into overtime, and Larson pulled a 5-point move in overtime and won 8-3. Larson finished 4th last year in the districts. So looking at Wilkes or Wesley.
You know, I haven't heard one Rutgers University yet.
Well, you know what, Nick? My son graduates this year. I begged him, save me money.
Save your money, exactly right. Great education.
Go to
at a
Rutgers,
discount.
great school. He said no.
Where's he going?
It's right now between Rowan and St. Joe's. So now I'm saying Rowan.
Exactly, St. Joe's main line. You know, Comcast must be doing well, sending your kid to St. Joe's.
Yeah.
Huh? Strong.
We're making that decision Thursday. We'll find
Very good
out.
for you. The Hawks of St. Joe's. It's good Big 5 basketball.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm hoping. Grab a couple tickets. I want him to go to Carolina so I can get my Duke Carolina tickets. 50 seconds, no score. Of course, DeTono doesn't really have a whole lot of wrestling experience from what I'm told. Very strong, and to tell you what, the more he wrestles, like you talk about, the more mat time he's going to get.
Very
a lot
strong.
better.
He's very strong, very physical. Just needs more time on the mat, and that'll come. I watched him a little bit this year, and he's gotten better every match. And wrestling is the type of sport, John, is you got to get on the mat because you need to understand every predicament you're in, all the situations.
30 seconds.
And for Pittman, we look at Larson. He's a kid that's gotten better every year. 9 wins his freshman year, 16 as sophomore, 20 last year, and this year he has 23.
It's all about mat experience, just getting out there and wrestling. It's all confidence.
Larson plays football, baseball, wrestles. DeTono, there you see, no points. DeTono on that football team and a candidate to be the starting quarterback for the Red Raiders next year.
Very fast too, John. One of the fastest members on the Paulsboro High School football team.
11 seconds left, believe it or not. No score in the first period. Boy, we haven't seen that too much.
It's one of those matches that two wrestlers have just wrestled each other a short time ago. They're feeling, each other out here on, how they're going to wrestle the match. So it goes a little conservative, and then you'll see we'll get some flurry of activity as the match goes on.
Larson got to the finals with a win, injury default win over Dave Bruno. DeTono with a 13-8 win over Mark Loomis of Gateway. And as we talked about, Loomis advanced. with his pin in the consolations. There's that strength by Detono. He gets the escape and gets the first points of the match.
And that was all strength. I mean, that's a very dangerous move if you don't come out of that. If the strength doesn't pull you out, Larson puts you on your back and the match is over. Those moves get me nervous, especially when you don't have the experience level.
This was a low-scoring match, as we said the first time. I mean, it was 3-3 going into the overtime period. It's that way right now. 1:27 left in the second. 1-0. Eric Detono with the escape in the second period. Only points of this match.
Good outside single by Larson to a double. There's that strength move again. That's all strength. Underhook, half Nelson. Oh my! Oh! Eric Detono gets a pin. What's that, John?
303. Got to watch that throwing of the helmet, the headgear.
Through the headgear.
They're going to toss, and there he gets his hand raised.
Super move, and again, you can see all strength. He worked it well. He chilled him for the pin.
We'll take a break. We'll come right back. Welcome back to Gloucester County College. We get ready for 171 pounds. This is one of those great matchups of two of the top 171 pounders in the state of New Jersey. And many of the rankings, these two are ranked in the top 4 in the state. Nick Roy, obviously, of Wall Township is the top ranked. And then you have Aquino, Oreo from Eastern, and Zach Guerin of Paulsboro. Guerin, 28-1. His only loss was to Anthony Oreo of Eastern, 5-4 in the Caldwell tournament. Aquino, 22-0. Nicky, last year he was at 189 pounds. Look at him.
He looks great. Looks like this is the weight he should be at. He looks strong at this weight class. It's going to be a very good match tonight. Guerin, very tough in himself. I mean, he's 171 pounds. He's very tall, a lot of leverage, very aggressive. And one thing about Guerin, he's wrestled a lot of quality teams. So I don't know if that's any such thing as being an edge. Defford may not have the strength and schedule, but you can't take that away from Aquino.
Aquino finished second in the districts the last 2 years. Third in the regions 2 years ago, and second in the regions last year. Last year he lost to James Funk in the district finals at 189, 2-0. Funk went on to finish 6th in the state. Blood timeout. Let's take a look at that pin by Detono.
Watch,
talked about his
Larson
strength.
goes in. He goes in. Detono's able to elevate his body. See the right leg by Detono? He's got the half and the underhook. As Larson comes in, what Detono does is uses the momentum of Larson with the half, elevates the leg, flips him over, and pins him with a half Nelson. Great move, great strength move. You don't see it often.
You don't teach that one, do you?
I tell you what, it's pretty when it happens. Because some of the downsides that can happen is when the wrestler's going in on that double, he'll stop his momentum. He'll stop his momentum, and that way the other wrestler's on his butt with the half Nelson. But Detono just worked that extremely well, and picture's worth 1,000 words.
Yeah, great move.
We have a blood timeout for Guerin of Paulsboro.
Guerin bleeding. They'll just wrap up his head. A little tape.
That's what wrestling's about.
Sure.
Wrap it up, patch it up, spit on it, put a Band-Aid, get back out there.
Wrestling and hockey, real men play those sports.
I don't know about hockey.
I do. Alexis Aquino getting a bye into the semifinals and then pinned Frank Coyne of Pittman in a minute 51.
And very impressive pin.
Right.
Worked the cross body ride well. Nice tuck under by Aquino.
Trying to get the takedown on Guerin. Gonna pick him up. Guerin trying to fight it off. Trying to reach back and grab the leg.
45 seconds.
Good takedown. Beautiful duck under.
Takedown, and Aquino leads 2-0. Guerin pinning his way to the finals. John Mars of West Deptford, Mike Galley of Clayton, his two victims.
That was a picture-perfect duck under for Aquino. Had a tough time finally finishing the move, but duck under, getting to the side, getting behind Guerin was picture-perfect.
And don't be surprised if these two guys meet again a week from tonight.
You know, there's something wrong with that.
15 seconds.
I'm not a fan of that. I mean, I understand, but I wish we could go back to wrestling everything at one gymnasium.
Right.
Get rid of the super region thing. Let's wrestle it all under one roof. The boardwalk hall is in great shape now.
Guerin gets the escape, trying to go right after Aquino.
And let's get rid of that first round. I had to finish my editorial. I did.
Okay.
I'm done.
Okay.
It was a good, I tell you what.
Next week is the region finals,
Yeah.
though, so I mean, you have to.
Yep. You're right. You have to do the regions, but you know there are times in that super regions you can meet again.
Yeah. Well, you know what? They did change the super regions. Now only the second and thirds wrestle. They don't let the first place guys go in there anymore. So, and then what they will do is they're going to reseed.
Right. I'm glad
16,
they did that.
So they knew what you were thinking.
Just get rid of that round. Get back into one gym. Wrestle it.
2-1 as we start the second period.
You know, that little flurry of activity that we just saw, Aquino did a nice job by getting out of it. He could have ended up on his back, but you know, had enough mat presence to give up the move and get to his feet.
You can see the strength of both of these wrestlers right here. Aquino's already been hit with a warning. Guerin trying to get the reversal, and he got it. Takes the 3-2 lead. Well, he has to watch. He's not in a great spot right here. I'm going to get a stalemate. I doubt if we're going to stalemate here, huh? Oh, he's got to watch. Aquino's got to watch.
See, Guerin has the Turk in. In a really good situation, hit an near side cradle here, and there it is. You get some back points here. He could pin him right here. That's a very good move. He's got near side cradle. Looks like Aquino's right shoulder is up. But it's slipping. That's it. It's over. It's over.
3 minutes, 4 seconds. Zach Guerin battles back after trailing 2-0 early.
John, that's why I was kind of alluding to the different schedules. I don't know if that hurts him or not, but you know, Guerin's been in this situation. But you know what? He pins a kid that is undefeated at a District 29 final. Very impressive.
Paulsboro's had a great showing so far in the finals.
They had a nice consolation round. They put 3 in, they get 3 out. So far they're doing well in the finals. But that was just a nice move by Guerin, staying in with the Turk and then changing it to a near side cradle. And he works extremely well. And he pins Aquino. That's, you know, as of now, that's your most valuable wrestler.
Right now.
As of now.
Let's take a look at that again.
See, Guerin stays in there. He works the Turk, so he's got the Navy in. Let's go to the Navy ride. He's got the Navy in, stays in near side. Near side cradles it right up. Stays patient with it, tries to get his hips down. That gets Aquino's shoulders to the mat. As those hips start coming down, Aquino's shoulders go to the mat, and that's what happens. And you can't get caught in a quality wrestler like Guerin because you just don't come out.
Okay, we have another great matchup here at 189. This is also a rematch of a dual meet. That Funk won 8-3 in overtime with a 5-point move. James Funk from Paulsboro, a senior, 21-3. And he has 101-15 for his career. Jason Hatchell, 25-1 for Clearview. That only lost to Funk.
John, I did go to this dual match this year. Both wrestlers gave 100%. Both wrestlers extremely drained. In overtime, it was just, you know, who wanted the most. And fortunately for Funk, he gets a very nice spladle. and wins the match. You know, he just wanted it just a little bit more. But see, both wrestlers now have been passed through that season. They're both in better shape. Both have gotten better.
Hatchell very strong, plays football, big weightlifter. And James Funk's going to go to Lackawanna Junior College and play football. An excellent kicker for Paulsboro. I used to joke around watching Paulsboro play football that, Glenn Howard should cut us all a break sometimes and just take the other 10 guys off the field because Funk kicks the ball in the end zone so many times.
1 minute remaining in the period, 1 minute.
It's a very powerful, strong leg.
You go back to the center, 57 seconds left. We talk about Funk's 3 losses, all quality wrestlers. Brett Jankos in the Caldwell tournament from Brick 2-1. He's in the top, one of the top 89 pounders in the state, as is Jeff Black of Absegami, who he lost to 7-2. And his other loss, Nick, Patrick Bond of Great Bridge, number 2 team in the country, 4-3 in overtime. Patrick Bond is a 189-pound freshman who's ranked number 7 in the country as a freshman.
It's unbelievable. I tell you, Great Brig, the Granby school,
right,
unbelievable.
32 seconds left. We're scoreless. Hatchell finished third last year in the districts, 4th in the regions. Go back to the center. James Funk, 3rd his freshman year, 1st last year, 1st his sophomore year. 3rd in the regions last year, 2nd in the regions his sophomore year. Last year finished 6th in the state, was hurt and could not finish the last day, but did place. No points yet, still scoreless. 9 seconds left in the first period. Some big guys out there.
And they are strong. I mean, I watched the semifinal match. Hatchell was just picking his opponent up at will. And that ended up being a very good match. Xander, quality wrestler.
Yeah, Xander only had
very quality wrestler.
Yeah, he only had 1 loss, and that was to Funk. And Hatchell pinned him in 5 minutes 43 seconds. Meanwhile, Funk with a workmanlike 11-1 win over Frank Coratola with Deptford. Paulsboro gets all the lucky breaks in this one. They choose bottom. Of course, Paulsboro had 4 in the consolations. They won all those, and they've won every final so far. So a nice night for the Red Raiders. Hatchell is just a junior, another one getting better each year. 10-7 his freshman year, 26-7 last year, and coming into the finals, he's 25-1.
Not bad.
No, that was an overtime loss. We talked about it earlier to Funk in that dual meet. That was a dual meet. Nick, you were there also. You were talking about it. Where matchups, that's what tells you about matchups. Paulsboro just matches up great against Clearview, where they won 13 out of 14 weight classes because Clearview's strength is the upper weights.
Right.
And no one has better upper weights than Paulsboro.
Yep, good point.
We've almost wrestled 3 minutes in this match without any scoring.
1 minute remaining in the period, 1 minute.
We'll start back at the center. They go out with 50 seconds left. Big key if Hatchell can ride Funk out.
Could be Paulsboro's second caution. Now it's going to be caution on Hatchell. May have bumped him coming on top.
tries to stand up and tries to get the switch.
Oh,
nice job,
Nice
Hatchell.
switch, re-switch. You see that?
Yeah.
Nice combination there. Good sit out, turn in, right arm up, faces him for the escape.
So Funk with the first points with 30 seconds left in the second period. Funk's the one taking the shot. Hatchell doing a nice job to fight it off, trying to spin around and get the takedown.
Got the crossface.
15 seconds.
No points yet.
Funk trying to hold on to Hatchell's arm, but there's the
There's the
takedown for Hatchell with 9 seconds left in the period. James Funk's just going to wait till the third period to make his noise as Hatchell's going to take the bottom. He leads 2-1.
Good job by Hatchell. Funk shoots in, head down, had the leg, had the ankle, really couldn't do anything with it. Hatchell cross faces and finally spins behind.
Freestyle start. It's now 3-1, Hatchell.
See, a nice shot by Funk. His head's in the center, working it to the outside.
He gets the takedown. Now he's got a decision to make. How long? There, and he made it.
Now,
lets him go, 4-3.
Again, this is the type of situation, you let him up, you take him down. If not, if you let him up, you lose the match.
Clearview.
A quick stall called.
They didn't waste any time there. I was kind of shocked at that one.
Go, James, go!
This is the type of situation, John, like we've seen before in the Cooper Mercado match. If Funk's able to pressure Hatchell and keep pushing into him, he gets a stall point, the match is tied.
Right.
Now, winner gets the takedown. Whoever gets the takedown wins.
Hatchell does a nice job to extend again. And they'll try and do that same thing. Spin around, he gets a takedown, and he has a 6-3 lead with 55 seconds left. And now he lets Funk go.
Now, what's interesting about that, Funk shoots with his head down, and Hatchell's able to extend himself, sprawl, and spin behind.
45 seconds.
When you want to take these double legs, you want to keep your head up and get it to the outside. Or if you stay on the inside, you got to drive, post an arm, look up in the air, go between the legs.
6-4, 40 seconds left.
Again, it's interesting here. I see the fan reaction because Hatchell's pushing Funk out of bounds, looking for the same stall that happened a few seconds ago.
Funk took the shot early. 20 seconds left. He needs a takedown. He trails 6-4. Hatchell doing a great job just holding on to Funk.
15 seconds.
Stalemate, 15 seconds left. There's the stall. It's now 6-5. Funk can get the takedown. He can win. I don't think they'll call another stall here with 8 seconds left. So 6-5.
The only way you get another stall here, it's got to be extremely blatant. It's a good shot by Hatchell. Good fireman carry by Funk.
Gets the takedown.
He gets the takedown. He wins it on the buzzer.
Oh,
Oh yeah, that's on the buzzer.
7-6.
On the buzzer.
Oh my. I don't mean to sound like Bojanin. We're going to have a dispute over the clock. It looked like there was a second left.
Yep, I believe there was. They're going to go look at the clock. But I believe there was some still times left on the clock when the point's given. Now the interesting thing about this is it's not when the time ran out, it's when the referee saw the move. So
Right.
it doesn't matter if the points went up last, it's when the official saw the move. Look at that, that's great sportsmanship out there to center the mat. Both wrestlers shaking hands. Look,
That's
the fireman's carry,
right.
the fireman's carry happened at the buzzer on the edge. Now they're going to time keeper and say, look, this is where I am, where were you? So they'll figure it out.
There we see John Marinelli. He's over there. He's anxious for this decision. Is it 6-5 Hatchell? Is it 7-6 Funk? Let's find out what happened. It's a takedown.
I thought so. I got to tell you, when I looked up to the left of to the clock. I saw 1 second left up there, and then the points went up and the time had run out. I tell you what, that was just great wrestling. Great wrestling.
Welcome back to Gloucester County College as we take a look at Mike Mendenhall. And here's the consolation match from, I guess, 189 pounds. And there's Harry Zander of Gateway. And watch that move. Great leverage by him. Tall. It's 5 minutes into the match. He picks up the pin and advances to Absegami. Now we go to 2:15. Jesse Eisenhart of Clearview, a senior, 21-4. He goes up against Mike Mendenhall, a senior from Paulsboro, 17-0. Last year, Mendenhall won his district by beating John Hatchell, who we'll see in the final. He pinned him in a minute 57. Mendenhall is going for his 4th District 29 title. And he's trying to make Paulsboro, I believe, 8 for 8 in the districts tonight. I want to go back and look at my sheets. I'm sure our truck will give me that information, so I don't have to count.
You know, I got to tell you,
that's why we have producers, right?
Yeah, I'm not good with math. I can only do one match at a time. I can't go back. I have a hard time going forward.
One of Eisenhart's losses this year to Mendenhall. Mendenhall only has 17 matches because he was injured during football season. Mendenhall, 3-time district champion. His freshman year, he was 4th in the regions, 1st in the regions as a sophomore, 2nd last year. As a sophomore, finished 7-8 in the state, and last year finished 3rd in the state. He's going to be playing football at Temple University. Nice football scholarship. Once again, the headgear going off. We'll go back to the center. Of course, Mendenhall has to be considered one of the top 3 215-pounders in the state. Donofrio of Cranford, of course, Adam Cooney from Holy Cross, who was in the state final last year and who beat Mendenhall last year, is favored to win that weight class. We have a warning against Eisenhart for stalling.
Mendenhall just looks like a football player, doesn't he?
Absolutely.
I mean, you see the physique, his arms. A tough kid. 2-time All-State football.
Yeah, can't beat that.
That's,
and I'll tell you
pretty
what,
impressive.
Has a shot at being the South Jersey Athlete of the Year if he continues at this pace. Scoreless
Very
first
impressive.
period. Mendenhall starts on the bottom.
This is where Eisenhart wants to keep Mendenhall in motion, because as long as Mendenhall stands still, he can peel it off, and that's what happened.
Right. Well, Mendenhall tries to spin behind and get the takedown, and he does. He leads 3-0.
Nice duck under, gets the takedown.
After a scoreless first period, Mendenhall scores 3 early points here in the second. Lets Eisenhart go. It's now 3-1.
Good double.
Yeah.
Boy, that
was
was
quick move for a big man.
as advertised. Now he's got it looks like he has the Navy ride in. You're going to see him come up to the near side cradle, or a half, like we saw Garin do. Eisenhardt's doing a good job bellying down, getting out of that move.
1 minute remaining in the period, 1 minute.
Work it, let's go, guys, let's go. Let's go, Red.
5-1 Mendenhall, 49 seconds left. Of course, in the tournaments, we start at 103 and end at heavyweight. During the year, they used to flip a coin. Big fan of that flipping of a coin?
You know, I like it because it's intriguing. I don't like it because it's very difficult for me, and I'm not a rocket scientist, but it's very difficult to juggle my lineup, to figure out one up, one down, who my matchups are. I mean, for coaches, I guess it's maybe it's exciting because once you weigh in, you pull the number out, and then you have X amount of time to figure out who you have, who you weighed in. So a lot of strategy involved with that.
Of course, some of the coaches don't like it for the fact that a match could end at a 103 or 112-pound weight class, and those kids are freshmen and sophomores and aren't used to that pressure. It's one of the arguments against it.
Well, I'm a creature of habit. I like the old traditional start at 103. I'm not so sure about the pressure. You know, kids handle pressure different.
Yeah.
Some people like it at the end.
Of course, you can look at it the other way as the kid you're wrestling is also an underclassman and going through that same thing.
Right.
Take a look at the consolation match here at 215. This is Hanlon of Deptford going up against Nick Ryan of West Deptford. And he pins him in 2 minutes and 36 seconds. So John Hanlon from Deptford High School advances with that fall. And he is in the trip up or trip down south to Absegami. It used to be your old neck of the woods down there, wasn't it?
Yeah, one time I worked down in Atlantic City. It's a tough drive, 65 miles one way. And then, of course, it was easier. I flew to East Chicago and opened up a casino out there, so I flew for 3 years. Go figure.
5-2, third period, 140 left. Mendenhall looking for the reversal, looking to get some points. He got it. It's now 7-2. I think the crowd is drained after those last two matches, the Aquino-Guerin match and especially that Hatchell-Funk match.
And then go one more, the Daytona match.
Oh, sure, right before that.
Right before that. I was going to mention that I thought maybe that would help Garin a little bit because he sees Daytona go out there, and it's like being in a lineup again. You know, you see another Palzer wrestler out there coming up with a big win. You know, it fires you up for that match.
You know, by the way, I'm not going to jinx anybody, so I got to find the question here. Mike Mendenhall is just in complete control. There's a question in the program which I thought interesting. Who was the last Paulsboro wrestler to lose a match in a district tournament between the weights of 160 and heavyweight? And you have to go back to 1998. Anthony Young lost at the 160-pound consolation. 1998. Now you got to think about that. That's 160, 171, 189, 215 in heavyweight.
It's amazing.
No matches lost in the district tournament. That's phenomenal. And so far on pace to do it with 2 weights to go. Mendenhall in control here with 51 seconds left, 7-2. Another blood timeout.
Medalists at 189 pounds, be ready to come forward at the conclusion of this bout for your medal presentation. All 14 champions.
Because it's Mendenhall's blood. Trying to find the blood. Find what is it, the trail
DNA or
blood.
what?
Yeah,
How do you know?
Who has it? Everyone walked off. Everyone looked at each other. It's not me. They put it back on the mat.
Take pictures of the District 29 champions. ...45 seconds.
Mendenhall controlling Eisenhart the whole time.
Yeah, there may be a stall warning on the bottom here, but there's only 30 seconds left.
There it is.
There's the point for
30
Mendenhall.
seconds.
8-2. He's getting bit.
He got bit. That's could be an inadvertent. Could be inadvertent. That's a match. They're going to DQ him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, if it was for real, if it was a real bite, you're DQ'd. If it's inadvertent, you move on, because cross faces, that happens. But Mendenhall is able to show, I guess, the forearm of the teeth mark. Not the qualification, not the fault, I'm sorry.
Right.
But he was winning 8-2 before that happened. So I'm just wondering, John, and again, this is where you have to bring in Mr. Bojadine.
Right.
With this disqualification, does he get to move on? What's the rules on disqualification?
Yeah.
Someone help me on that. I've been on the couch for about 7 years.
Oh, we'll wait and see. That's a good question.
Good question. Maybe we get someone in the truck to help us out.
Yeah, maybe somebody can run out and check. Meanwhile, we get ready for the heavyweight match.
And this is a big match, no question about it. This is why people come and pay their admission.
Sure, the battle of two unbeatens. John Hatchell, a senior, 23-0. Tom Curl for Paulsboro, senior, 29-0. Curl, 32-4 as a freshman, 38-1 as a sophomore, 34-1 as a junior. Three-time district champ, three-time region champ, fifth as a freshman, third in the state as a sophomore. State champ last year. Here's the consolations, by the way, at the heavyweight. And Rich Clegg of Deptford with the pin, 2 minutes 57 seconds over Zach Knapp of West Deptford. Okay, now we have another discussion going on at the scorers table. Paul Marina and three officials. They might be asking that same question you're asking.
Yeah, you know what? Usually in disqualifications, you don't move on. But I don't know. I shouldn't have brought up the question, but I just thought we'd throw that out there, a little intrigue.
And you know what? We will definitely find it out before we go off the air. Well, of course.
There was only like 20 seconds remaining in that match too.
Okay, here we go. Hatchell's a senior, going to be playing football at Lehigh University.
At one time they were called the Fighting Engineers.
Great engineering.
Not anymore, yes.
16 pins this year. Of course, Tom Curl has 89. I did verify that, 89 pins.
Okay.
His next pin would be his 90th, but that would break Damian Hahn's record for most pins in a career in the state of New Jersey. Curl just showing his quickness.
Quick single to a double.
Gets the takedown in the 2-0 lead. Hatchell was on a recruiting visit, visiting a college when the dual meet, so he didn't have a chance to wrestle Curl. Paulsboro going for their 9th district champ and advancing 13 of 14 to Absegami. Well, they will advance 13 of 14 to Absegami because you're already in. There's the escape. It's 2-1. So out of his 29 wins this season, Curl has 25 pins. 16 pins for Hatchell this year out of his 23 wins.
You watch these two wrestlers out here, they don't look like heavyweights. They don't look like 275-pounders. They're very quick, very agile.
Look at that quickness by Curl, the quickest heavyweight I've ever seen.
Did you see that cross-grain single? And he's on the line. He's not going to get it. His toes go out. But he hits a cross-grain single, changes to a double. Looked like a 103-pounder out there. And Hatchell doing a nice job fighting it off.
He's going to attend Buffalo University on a wrestling scholarship.
John, it's cold up there.
Yes, I was thinking that same thing.
I went to the Rutgers Buffalo football game. It was chilly.
You were the one that was there.
That was the other one.
That was just chilly.
I brought the kids too.
Yeah.
And of course, Buffalo had 7 feet of snow X amount of months later.
Oh. Hatchell's going to defer. Curl takes the bottom.
Curl very tough on the bottom. He likes that little elbow roll. Elbow roll, rolls through, gets a pinning combination.
Right, I saw him do that his freshman year with the match on the line against Absegami. His freshman year early on in the season. And it looks like he's just waiting to make his move.
Very patient on not lifting his head up too quickly because, you know, in a situation like that, if Curl lifts his head up and Hatchell catches it, Hatchell lateral drops him.
Look out. There's a takedown.
Nice duck under by Curl.
Hatchell showing his strength and not to go on his back. A lot of times, most guys just go right on the back. And this is the longest Curl has wrestled in this tournament. In the quarterfinals, he had a 10-second pin. In the semifinals, a 51-second pin. Hatchell not too shabby himself, with 146 pin in the semis and a 16-second pin. It's 5-1. The question is Curl wearing Hatchell down?
Well, you know, it's interesting. It's almost like the, I go back to the Garin match again. It's the quality wrestlers that they wrestle. So, you know, Clearview wrestles a tough schedule, don't get me wrong. But Curl's been wrestling, Hallsberg's been wrestling some tough schedules. And that means something. If anything, it's just a confidence builder.
Now conditioning could come into be a factor here.
seconds.
I would imagine his workout partner is a big factor too. Him and Mendenhall work together. I'm sure they help each other all the time.
Yeah. I don't know exactly who's down there, but there's no question that Mendenhall would be in there. And then of course they have a couple other wrestlers that are at the 215 that they keep throwing at you. And you know, I've heard of Carmel Marina going down there and rolling around a little bit.
Well, we're going to go to the third period. Curl in control, 5-2. Hatchell's points coming on escapes. He'll start the third period on the bottom.
If you're Hatchell, you know, you're in a position you can still win this match. It's only 5-2. He's on the bottom. He can escape. He can turn him over. There's the escape.
5-3.
5-3.
So Hatchell's only a takedown away from tying it. Of course, all 3 points have come on escapes.
And Hatchell needs to get the takedown. He needs to be the aggressor. Curl can basically just stand there, fight him off, and win this match. You don't need to win by a pin. You only need to win by 1 point tonight.
One minute to wrestle.
Regulation, 1 minute.
There he is. He just waited, took his chance, and
it's a good shot. Gets in, gets out. Hatchell's the one that needs to get the takedown here.
Yeah, not taking any shots. I'm surprised we haven't seen any stall warnings. There you go.
39 seconds left. Hatchell gets a takedown. This match is tied.
seconds.
Curl trying to join Mike Mendenhall as 4-time district champs.
Curl just 15 seconds away. Now if you're Curl, you just circle, you move around a little bit. You don't want to get too sloppy. There's a takedown by Curl.
7-3.
So now Curl will be a 4-time district champion. Just a spectacular effort. Dump
And
with
he's
a
going to
back
run out
point.
of time for his pin though. But he'll win his 4th district title, 7-3. Tom Curl will be back to wrap it up from Gloucester County College after this timeout.
Tom Curl, Paulsboro by decision. Natural, clearance by final score of 7-3. Winning out the medal for 9, and then immediately following the medal at 75. At 2:15, third place, John Hinton of Denver.
Just following your leader. Yeah, just wrap it. Just say tonight. Thanks. That's all for us.
Welcome back to Gloucester County College. Nick, no surprise, Paulsboro won the team competition, but Paulsboro also wins 8 out of the 9 guys in the final. That's not bad, 9 champions. When it's all said and done, they advance 13 wrestlers to Absegami. Not bad. 2 guys come out with as 4-time district champs, so a great showing for Paulsboro.
Yeah, it really was. You know, they had one of their finest tournaments. You couldn't ask more from the kids. And overall, I thought the District 29 tournament was very good.
Yeah, and of course, Zach Guerin had a great tournament. He's just been named the outstanding wrestler. He went up against Aquino from Deptford, pinned him, and that was one of the premier matches we talked about in the opening.
Yeah, I believe it was well deserved. You know, we could have given it to a couple other people, maybe Funk on the last second takedown. But you know what? You pin a person that's undefeated, it means something.
Sure, another big matchup was Jared Mercado of Pittman going up against Kyle Mancuso, who's a 2-time district champion, a big win for him.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you win something like this, all the district winners should be very happy because you know what this means? When they go to the regions, they wrestle a number 2 seed. I mean, you don't wrestle the 1st seed right away, so a confidence builder by winning.
Okay, and of course, a lot of overtime matches. Curtis Cooper wins a nice an overtime match and a great match with Cartella.
Yeah, the Cartella match was interesting because as I looked on the instant replay at the end, it possibly looked like Cartella may have had that leg at the end. It may not have been a neutral, but you know, the call's made, the match is over, Cooper wins, and it was just a well-fought match.
And one controversial call was at 2:15, the end of the Mendenhall-Eisenhart match. Eisenhart disqualified for biting. That means he's out of the tournament. He's done wrestling for the year. And 4th place, I guess, Nick Ryan of West Deptford, he gets to advance in.
You know, John, it's so unfortunate because when I saw it, it looked like it may have been an inadvertent. I mean, there are times when you throw a crossface, you know, you hit someone's mouth, you hit their teeth, and you know the marks are left on the forearm. But I guess when the official sees the marks on the forearm, you know, you got to stop the match. And unfortunately, he's disqualified. You know, I talked to a couple of Polzer coaches afterwards. They were trying to let that go and say, look, it was inadvertent, but the call was already made. So unfortunately, Eisenhart gets DQ'd and the season's over.
Well, Nick, it's been great working with you. We have a lot of wrestling coming up next week at Absegami High School. For Nick Burchichelli, I'm John Mondelli. We'll see you then.